I can hear it now. Band take the field, and out of that eastern tunnel pour 215 well-drilled, well-disciplined Michigan bandsmen. They pour over the eastern sideline, they pour in the big block in, and they play the greatest college fight song ever written.
Gets me pumped up every time, man.
Great. Looks great. Why do I have like a big dot on my nose? You ever notice that in a little picture? I got like a big red nose.
I'll turn on the dot nose filter next time. Sorry about that. I missed that button. So what in the world is going on in the background?
Oh, that's my Halloween costume. I'm going as a little brown jug.
Nice.
So I've got all the scores on there, and you see 1926 right here, where my finger, right there. See that? That's when they played them twice that year, and the second game is actually fielding Yost's last game ever. So
I did not know that. So we played them twice one year.
Yeah. It was some weird thing. You don't need to. Well, this is not the history podcast. I'll get into that in the history podcast.
No, that's boring. All right. Well, yeah,
save that for Dooley or something.
Get into that there. So, man.
This is the X's and O's podcast.
we got the big points on the scoreboard this weekend that everybody's been clamoring for, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's going to look very good on the jug.
Yeah, the old boa constrictor comments and best team he's ever coached against from PJ Fleck. What do you think? Is that coach speak? Like, I just got my butt kicked. I'm trying to
No. Flex actually had a history of kind of being a little, pissy sometimes. Not as much as like Bielema or some other coaches, but I mean that was high praise. Anytime your defense outscores their offense, it's you've had a good day. And one of the reasons the score got so high in so few possessions, obviously, is Michigan scored on 2 of Minnesota's possessions to add to it. And that's what we wanted to talk about today. So that's a good segue, right?
That's a good segue. Yeah. While you're getting the video pulled up, rates suck. Mortgage rates are close to 8% right now. So definitely been focusing more on the real estate side, Seth. So anybody looking to buy, sell, maybe investment properties, whatever it is, anywhere in Michigan, realtorandlender.com, realtorandlender.com, not Lendor.
Not Lendor.
Lendor. So, we're going to talk about getting points on defense, huh?
We are. So here's the play. It's the second play of the game. And hope you can see can you see my mouse right now?
Yeah, when you move it around, we can. Yep.
Right here. Okay, great. So look how we've got off coverage right here. Minnesota sees off coverage. They're running an RPO. Okay. Reads, sees the linebacker stepping down. That's a pull. Sees the space up here, and he's going to run right into here, which is what you do against. Oops! So this is a trap. Michigan baited this, and I kind of wanted to show you why this relates to something we were talking about earlier this year, something that actually – one of those things, every week there's like one thing that's broken in our defense. We're like, how come they're running slants, or how come outside zone works, or a couple weeks ago it was against Rutgers. We were saying, why are we running off coverage, right? There's Gavin Wimsatt, and we're giving him this huge cushion over here. What is going on? Why does Michigan run this? And we'll show you the play. There they go. They drop in their cover 3. And look how much space there is right there. Right? So annoying. All right. This happened several times against Rutgers. And we were worried it was going to happen against Minnesota too, because they're another team that doesn't have a great quarterback. But Michigan loves to play their cover 3. They play that off coverage. And look, see, there's just that space to throw in there.
You don't think the Greek Cannon's a great quarterback, Seth? Or whatever we're calling it.
Whatever I forgot the great god of the great Greek god of passing. But yeah, so Michigan's got this. They give him this cushion, right? And they like to run cover 3, which means he's going to bail. They're going to have a safety bailing to the middle of the field, and then they got this guy here in the curl flat zone. He's responsible if this guy goes, vertical right here, and because of that responsibility, and because he's responsible for this guy for being on top. When somebody turns around and curls right there, all of a sudden they got this space that they can run into. So, cover 3, right? This is how Michigan loves to play there. This is Michigan's base pass defense. They love to play this cover 3. And it gives this space in here, right? So here's the way that here's the one way that they shift, and here's the way they shifted in both those plays I just showed you. Okay, so you got free safety bailing deep to this cover three, this corner. Now cover three is just as much about how you get there as it is about where you cover, right? So this guy, this curl flat defender, he can't just go right here. Okay, he's got to defend this guy's vertical route until he's not a threat. Otherwise, they could just quickly throw it to that seam, right?
Yep.
So he's got to defend this route here before he can get into his curl flat zone. And because of that, this little spot in here is often open because this cornerback is bailing, right? He's got this guy right up until about here, and then he's got to get deep so he can get on top of this route, right? And he's got to get to his curl flat. So that always leaves this little spot in here. And that's why we've always had that little spot when you're running cover three. That spot underneath, they can throw a hitch to it all day, or you can just reverse these two, right? Same play basically, just reversing these two routes, but you're attacking it the same way, right? This guy has to cover him vertically until he comes down into his curl flat zone. He can use that to get over here. The cornerback has to get on top, so he's going to clear out of the way, and you have this space to throw in. All right, that is cover three. Now, the reason why you can't just throw into that all day is because sometimes you might not get cover three. Excuse me. All right, so this is the Rutgers game again. All right, same look, right? We got this off coverage. We're giving him all this space here. It looks like he's going to bail into the middle zone. It looks like he's going to be the curl flat defender. It looks like he's going to be the 1/3 defender, right?
Yep.
They see this. They're going to run it. Here we go, right? He's running his curl route right there. He's running a vertical route. Here's your curl flat defender. But wait a minute. What happened with that safety? Watch. Oh. I mean to jump ahead here.
Uh-oh. Somebody's getting fired.
All right. Look at this. Look at the safety getting over here. This is not cover three. It's cover two. But it looks very similar, right? You got this guy playing the curl flat. You've got this guy sitting back, right? You're expecting him to bail, and he's anticipating the throw. You always anticipate the throw, right? So
yeah, and you're kind of baiting him by playing off so far,
right?
Disguising it with this. Yep.
Right. So it's disguised. Wallace jumps on it, and unfortunately, they throws it so out of bounds that Wallace can't pick it off, and then they call pass interference because the receiver just stopped because he gave up on the route. Referees in this league are a little off.
It's a terrible call, yeah.
But watch, it's the same thing that happened against Minnesota, okay? So we saw that off coverage they had earlier, right? All right. He's looking over there, right? He's already made his decision. He's not going to throw the RPO, all right? He's going to he's watching this guy here. He's watching Page because Page is that curl flat defender. He's got to stay vertical over this. He thinks. He's not looking at the safety. Right? He's not watching that safety. The safety would be a tell because the safety is going to get out in cover two. See the two safeties are getting into their deep coverage.
Yep.
If he saw the safety getting deep, he would know this cornerback is allowed to come down. But no, he thinks this cornerback's going to be bailing deep. He thinks this safety is going to be up here. He's not watching Will Johnson. Yoink.
Yeah. And so that's just what are we doing to trick him on that? What is and how does that set
all
up
it is
for later on?
So all it is making it look like cover three, right? But it's not cover three. Okay, it looks like it because you got your curl flat guys who looks like a curl flat defender who's getting over on top of this vertical route, right? So he looks like he's going to be covering this zone. So you're watching him, and as soon as this guy clears him, you think you're good. You think this is the guy with the zone, and he's the one you have to clear. He's not watching him. Now, if you saw the safety takes one step going this way. So out of the corner of his eye, he sees the safety bailing into what looks like a middle third, which tells him this cornerback has probably got this zone up here, and he thinks he's safe. He thinks he's got the right read, and he's watching this, okay? Because if you're practiced against cover three, you know that's where you want to hit them. It's the second play of the game. And he's like, okay, this is what Michigan likes to give up.
Yep.
Michigan's
scripted at that point. Yep. Scripted at that point. They know what they're trying to get against the cover three. So how does that translate, Seth, against quarterbacks who can make a read in the middle of
Well,
the
I
play
mean,
as opposed to free play.
this is basically what we did against Ohio State last year. These are called switch zones. So a switch zone is something that looks like one coverage and turns into another one, right? Michigan runs. Everyone runs switch zones. Everyone does. And if you run any zone defense whatsoever, you're going to run switch zones. Okay. Michigan runs more, and they run them more complex ones than others, right? So sometimes they might have, this guy bailing into the deep middle third, going into a cover 3 from this look, and having him come down. So if you're watching him bailing deep and you think that he's going, staying vertical over this, you won't even notice this guy stepping in and maybe picking it off there. This is a switch zone, right? It looks like cover 3 for the first few steps. And they're running cover 2 a little differently than you normally run cover 2 to make it look more like cover 3, right? You have that safety stepping in before he gets out on top of this. You're giving them windows to throw into. Because if you notice that, if you see the safety is starting to come out this way, you know that you have room to throw over this cornerback. And this is actually open all the way to the 40-yard line, right? So you can actually adjust to this mid-play if you wanted to. They're leaving something open, but they're confusing the quarterback. They're saying they're giving him a read of cover 3, which is Michigan's favorite coverage. So you're expecting it. And then you get the thing you're expecting. And you see this guy looking exactly like he's going to be in cover 3. And you think, I've got it, right? They're set up like they're going into cover 3. You see this guy acting like cover 3. They run cover 3 all the time. You think, I've got it. And then the zones switch. He's actually got the high zone. He's actually got the low zone, and it's a cover 2, not a cover 3. But you can actually do this with a cover 3 to cover 3 as well. The idea is to have somebody showing up not where you expected him, and another guy looking like he's running a different coverage. And you can and because it's not that different between whole coverage and a cover 2 and and curl flat and a cover 3 until you have to get into the flat, then that's one of the best ways to have these confusing games. But Michigan puts them all over the place. This is a very simple example, and it worked spectacularly. But it worked because that's the spot you want to attack Michigan normally. And now okay, if I want to attack Michigan that way, I have to worry about a pick 6.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was definitely
now you take that off, right?
Definitely fun to sort of have a game feel over 15 seconds in.
Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, that's the point, right? Michigan has this weak spot in the way they play defense. And their base coverage is that cover 3. And they have a weak spot. And you practice all week to attack that weak spot and get some free yards like Rutgers did. But, in Rutgers' case, they got away with it. They threw into that weak spot 3 times and got 3 first downs. And then one time, Michigan actually ran a switch coverage, and they should have had a pick 6 off of it. But the quarterback was wrong, and then the referees bailed them out. Right?
Yeah.
That's getting lucky. Minnesota gets unlucky. Right? Michigan is running the switch coverage the first time. But this is how we play Ohio State. This is how we mess with C.J. Stroud. Right? We like to have more guys dropping into coverage so we have more guys who can actually get into these weird zones and more ways to mess around with you, because the more compact your zones, the more your players are kind of close together, the harder it is to figure out who's playing what zone and how. So it makes those reads more difficult. You're not sure who you're looking at, or it's easier to make somebody look like they're doing something that they're not because he's got the space to do it. Okay? Yeah. So Michigan is going to try to play with a light box, and this is all Ohio State practice. They notice that Minnesota likes to run outside zone, and that their passing concepts are very simple, but we can still run the same things we would run against Ohio State. This is 100% Ohio State practice.
Yeah. So speaking of other competitors and upcoming games, anything this past weekend that happened, or anything you're feeling confident for the rest of the season still, Seth?
I think that Maryland played Ohio State straight up. That they're the same level of team, which could tell you that Maryland's good, or could tell you that Ohio State isn't. I think Penn State's legit. Their defense is real, even if their offense is not really that great. And I think Michigan and Georgia are the best 2 teams in the country. If we had the BCS this year, it'd just be those 2.
Yeah, that's how it's looking. All right, man. Well, I'm excited to see us mess with people's heads going forward with a little trickery like this. Definitely nice to see the defense putting some points on the board, and absolutely nice to see the defense continue to just completely control the game.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice if they just don't attack that that spot, right? If they just stay out of that little hole, then mission accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I'll talk to you next week. It was great as always. Nice to see what we're doing and why that happened. And as always, go blue, man.
Go blue.